Good morning, Northwest Indiana. This is the Region Rundown with Bob and Adrianna. We've got Joe in the producer's chair today. It is Friday, January 30th. This has been the longest January that I have ever lived. We're going to start right off the bat here. You are listening to WJOB 1230 AM 104.7 FM in Hammond, Indiana, streaming live on the YouTubes for all those folks that are outside of our radio waves. You get to see us.
I always think of the joke where it's just like, "Hi, Mom, I did end up on YouTube."
Yeah, I did. So there's that. Want to kick it off with a couple news bits here with traffic and weather. We do have a winter storm warning that'll remain in effect from 3 p.m. this afternoon until 6 p.m. this Saturday. Looks like we're going to get just a lot of snow. But, it could be anywhere from 1 to 100 inches. Impacts after 3 o'clock. Travel could be very difficult to nearly impossible at times north of US 30. Whiteout conditions, snowfall rates of 2 or more inches per hour as portions of the band walk through the area on Saturday morning. But that's the warning part of it. Adrianna, you've got the...
And it looks like
the good stuff.
People are driving as if it is already snowing. So traffic in the Northwest region is looking pretty good. 80 going east and west is looking good. 65 going north and south is looking good. 90 going east and west is looking good. Chicago Skyways. But we do have a little bit of traffic on the tri-states on 80. And that is south before Thornton Quarry. That was reported and updated about 6 minutes ago. So 3 left lanes are blocked. And... that's created a little bit of traffic, and you're going to expect delays of maybe an hour. So if you are headed southbound on that area, be sure to keep that in mind. But the connector of the Dan Ryan Bishop Ford is looking pretty good as you're headed into the city. We do have a little bit of traffic on the Eisenhower east before 25th Avenue, exit 18. That was updated about 10 minutes ago. And also on the Eisenhower going west is closed due to an accident between 25th Avenue, exit 18, and US 12, US 20, US 25, exit 17 is backed up all the way to Illinois 43, Harlem Avenue, exit 21B. That was updated about 10 minutes ago, so you're going to see a bit of traffic on that area. Stevenson going north and south is looking pretty good. 94 going east and west is looking good as well, as you were seeing not a lot of traffic in like the main Chicago area, but on the Eisenhower we're going to have a bit of traffic on that. Joe, you got weather?
I have weather. I thought
you're
Bob
muted.
Just gave weather.
Well,
Bob just gave weather.
We got to know the numbers.
Well, I was just giving the storm warning there. People know we need to know right now.
Yeah.
Is it 5 degrees outside? Is it 10 degrees? Joe?
I can tell you guys that, actually. So right now, we're going to have, on Friday the 30th, we're going to have a high of 18. As Bob mentioned earlier, we're going to have a winter storm watch from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. tomorrow. And we're supposed to have about an inch this morning as well, from somewhere from 8 to 10. I guess we'll update you guys as we're in the studio, let you know if it starts snowing or not. And then tomorrow, obviously, it's going to be a winter snowstorm on Saturday, all the way up until 6 p.m. with a high of 21 and a real feel of 9. And then to close out your weekend, the snow will go away, but it'll still stay chilly, obviously, with a high of 26 and a real feel of 19.
That was fantastic. Joe, take a look at the comments on the YouTubes. I don't know if there's an audio video issue, but I'll let you take control of that. So it is Friday, the last Friday of the month. Adrianna and I were talking about what we wanted to talk about today, and there has been little bits of incremental news on big things like the Bears, what's going on in Minnesota, and we could touch on that stuff at the 7 o'clock hour for the callers. And we've already got some folks calling in.
Yes.
I want to talk a bit about the Star Plaza Theater because I find it to be some exciting news that we had in Dyer with our new amphitheater coming in. Got some relics from the Star Plaza Theater that we'll be putting in there. and I posted about it online, and just from maybe 6 o'clock yesterday until this morning, people are still posting about their memories of the Star Plaza Theater, and everybody had something different to say. So if you're out there, I will maybe tease this one or two times before the 7 o'clock hour. If you've got any memories of the Star Plaza Theater, or the Holiday Star as it was early on, give us a call after 7. Share those memories with if you saw something there, took your family there, whatever it may be. I've just been having fun listening to the memories, and so I thought I'd throw it out there to the region as a whole to see who might have had any thoughts with it. I think the big news, though it's not big, if we just say, hey, the Bears in Northwest Indiana, it sounds like we're just beating the same drum over and over again. And even you said, what could we possibly talk about now about it that,
that because looking to see what's going on in the region, it's the same kind of things, unless we want to go and talk about just like the crimes that are happening. That's always going to be different. But
it's the region. There's always going to be crimes in the region.
Well, welcome to the 219 area. But it's kind of difficult because it's like, okay, we can talk about NIPSCO, we could talk about that, but I mean, if we're going to make people more depressed, that we can't really do anything about our bills, which we could talk about that just a little bit. And
we will. I watched an interview with, I want to say the CEO the other day, and I had some opinions on that. But
the Bears.
But the Bears. So I think the incremental move on the Bears that we can talk about is the Indiana Senate did just pass Senate Bill 27, which creates the Northwest Indiana Stadium Authority, and it's just some weird quasi-public, quasi-government entity, and they're going to be empowered to purchase land, issue long-term bonds, and so the state is making steps to make Indiana much more attractive to the Bears. I think we are just attractive. Mayor McDermott has said. I think it's. I almost wonder. Mayor Tom, if you're listening, feel free to call in. But I really think it's part of just his language now that he speaks about the Bears coming to Hammond. That seems to be one of the most likely places. But every time he speaks, he pairs, and I think it's great, and this is why Indiana is probably attracted to the Bears, is all of the economic interests that they have over this period of time. Part of the framework for this, the Northwest Indiana Stadium Authority, is any deal with any team that comes to Indiana is going to have to be some 20, 30, 40-year lease deal on this stadium. And you look at the property taxes, everything that Indiana has to offer, the Bears could potentially save several $1 billion over that time. And so, when you look at tax uncertainty in Illinois, Indiana has a lot to offer. So again, throughout the day today, if you watched Mayor Tom's, he did the State of the City address the other day, and the Bears that was heavy in with that. So if you've got any thoughts on that, give us a call, 219-845-1100. Again, it's the Bears coming to Northwest Indiana. Whether or not it happens, if it's going to happen, people have, I don't want to say negative opinions about it, but very doubtful. It's hard to get enthused when you're most likely thinking that this is never going to happen. It's just a ploy for leverage to get what they want in Arlington. But we were hearing stories that a lot of the teams fly their private jets into Gary Airport anyways, and if you are in downtown Chicago, it's probably easier to come over here to, the Hammond area, to Wolf Lake, as opposed to going up to Arlington. So we do have a lot of positive. I think if you're doing a graph with, positives and negatives, we have a lot more positives than the instability of Illinois. And so I'm thinking that, again, this is something we will probably talk about every single week. And
It's to see if there's like a different update, and how you're saying that people are doubtful. I mean, I'm one of those people.
yeah,
It's hard to think that something as major as this, because yes, we have like the Railcats are considered minor league baseball, right?
yeah.
Okay, so we have like our minor league team here, and I think it's one of those where it's just like a national known team coming to our area. I think that's just a little hard to think of, and then also people have that in their heads. Okay, well, who's going to pay for this? Is it going to be taxpayers' money? Is it going to cause a lot of disruptions within our area, especially during the season?
Certainly the taxpayers, we're going to be on the hook in some form or fashion. We might not get a bill to our house, but somehow, some way,
We're going to see that.
They're going to. The only way this move makes sense for any of these organizations, you look at Indianapolis and the amount of money that they spent on Lucas Oil because they wanted an indoor stadium where they could host the Super Bowl, and they have. But I think if I don't know the whole story with it, but I think the roof doesn't work. I think they spent several $1 million on a retractable roof that doesn't necessarily work. But
I don't like Lucas Oil, the stadium, that much. I agree. I don't like the roof. I do like the window. The window's cool.
Yeah.
But that doesn't open either. So the thing with the Bears, though, I think if they move out to Hammond, it's so weird because Jed tells me to look at the camera, but I'm trying to have a conversation with you.
I got you.
You can have a conversation with us until we get a different camera that can.
Yeah. Okay. So the thing with the Bears is, like, if they're going to move to Hammond, it's not necessarily a Super Bowl location at that point. I mean, you're still 45 minutes out from or 35, 45 minutes out from the largest attraction, which is Chicago. And most people that are going to be going to the Super Bowl aren't going to want to go to Chicago for all the events and then drive 45 minutes out to Hammond to go and actually watch the game. So that's something I think we need to take into consideration, because at that point,
Well,
maybe
and that's a multi-year process to build that stadium, build all the infrastructure around it, all the hotels, all the amenities that people would want to go there for. And I just wonder what the difference is flying into, say, Midway to go to Arlington versus coming down to Hammond.
That, and also, where are we putting it in Hammond?
I think they've been talking about the Wolf Lake area.
Well, I don't want to be that guy because I love Whiting. Obviously, I coach there, but we should just get Whiting a new field and put the Bears Stadium right there. That's a cool place to have a stadium.
Yeah. But then also with that, see, I'm thinking like how they could kind of make their current attractions more desirable, especially if we do have like a football season, with that move Festival of the Lakes to a different date. So that way, okay, hey, by the way, while you're going to the Bears game, there's also this over here during the weekend to attract more customers. Would they move a lot, like Pierogi Fest, of course, it's always in August. Would we move that so that way, hey, everybody coming from here, come over there? Is that something like outlandish to think about?
No, but I think the idea of building a new stadium, one of... So you're not going to build this multi-billion-dollar stadium just to have a dozen football games in it a year.
Yeah.
It's going to be enclosed, so now you're going to be bringing in look outside of the Bears. There's all of the concerts, all of the different sports that play there. Mm-hmm. So I really think once you get it indoors, the amount of activity.
Yeah.
Indoors, under a roof, the amount of activity, you now have a year-round facility. And so I think, I don't know what that would mean for Festival of the Lakes, but I certainly don't think that it would mean that there now isn't something going on. I think you'd see even more there, more going on. But if we want to...
We got a caller? You want to take that?
I was going to say, if we want to hop over to the caller and see what they're thinking today. Whether or not it's the Bears, that's okay. You're listening to...
I want to point out one thing that you were talking about is like that it's a multi-year project. So, and like you have to make all the amenities. So I think that's important because you're taking out a lot more of Hammond than you like, other than just a stadium. You know what I mean? Like Foxborough, New England, the Patriots, for example, they have like a whole like outlet mall, like not like an outlet mall, but they have like a bunch of like stores and like this kind of outdoor mall kind of thing where you kind of walk up and you can go to all these different stores and then you walk straight into the stadium. I think that would be something cool. But, I mean, obviously it would take a lot more out of the town.
It would. I mean, if we could just all, suspend reality for a moment and think about what that would mean, it would really, I hate to use the word transformative, but it would really change what Hammond is.
Oh, yeah.
But aside from that, it would change what Lake County is. Yes, as soon as they build that, they'll put restaurants and hotels and commercial and retail and all of that up there. But I think Munster has maybe 6 or 7 hotels now. I mean, surprisingly, I didn't realize Munster had that many.
Yeah, they have a lot.
Dyer's getting a hotel. Cherville has several.
Hammond has a bunch of them right
right,
there, like
and
on the borders.
so right along the expressway. So, as you're looking to come and stay there, they they're going to fill those up, and I think it's going to be a big boon for everyone. So that's what I think. What does this caller think?
That's a good question. Let's see what this caller thinks.
Good morning, caller. You are on the air.
What do I say? Don't worry, be happy.
That's right. Good morning. How are you?
Okay, well, the reason I said don't worry, be happy, because, if the Bears, the mayor of Hammond and the north of the border would be happy, because if the Bears would come to this area north here in Hammond, the mayor and the city of Hammond would be happy, because just think, most stadiums would have 55,000 people, fans that can come in there and all that stuff. Just think, maybe the city of Hammond to get out of debt because of the food and beverage tax, that you have to pay when you're north of the border. But if the Bears don't come, maybe Jed and Sam Michael could do a good thing and get the losing Kansas City Chiefs and have them build a station over here in Indiana and move to Indiana instead of Kansas City.
I don't want to see the Chiefs in Kansas City or in Indiana.
So you're just saying whoever, any of these teams, anybody's more than welcome to come up here.
I keep thinking, are they going to build here? Yes or no? But if they're doing all this talking now, and then you mentioned something about the state got something started, maybe it could happen. I don't know. Before it ever gets built and gone, I'm finally going to be heading somewhere. I won't be on Earth anymore. I'll be somewhere. And then all the other people have to deal with that, And, it'd be a good idea. I mean, I still can't figure out where they would have the room for a stadium, a good big size stadium, enclosed, everything in this area. Because like you just said a moment ago, you're going to have to knock out a lot of area. And it's a lot of planning, This weather deal this weekend, I don't care what it does. Because last time it snowed, I got to finally use my new electric snow broom. And that thing does wonders, I mean, the last time I only got three more reviews to do on restaurants, and the last weekend I couldn't do it because of the weather. Now I can't do it Saturday because of the weather. Eventually I'll get them done. I got my 2-3 restaurants set up to where I'm going to go. But I was supposed to. I've been taking students to get tested every day this week and last week, and I don't talk politics with students or anything. I just teach and I talk to them. But I've been asking them, they live right around here, and I asked them about the NIPSCO bill. Yesterday's student that I took, and he lives in Maryville, and I says, do you have a home, rent, or buy, or what? He said, I got a house. And I says, how's your NIPSCO bill? He was telling me how much it is. I says, yeah. I said, well, there might be something maybe can be done, but probably not. He goes, yeah. He says, I don't know what I'm going to do. He says, man, that bill's just been going up and up and up. That's about all I got to say, except, I don't want to complain about no politics or any of that garbage this morning, because I just want everybody, don't worry, be happy. Whatever's going to happen.
The politics. There's nothing new. There's nothing new that happened today overnight that hasn't been rehashed every single morning on this radio station. Hasn't been rehashed online by everyone who listens to this radio station. We've so we can put a pin in that. I mean, it's just there's no.
Yeah. And I saw an article yesterday, something about the mayor of Gary went out to Notre Dame with a bunch of some other mayors talking about something. I read the article, but I don't understand what that was about. Why he went out to South Bend at Notre Dame and something about doing something, maybe somebody out there, Walt or you or anybody can. It was on Facebook page somewhere. It was an article about the mayors. There was a bunch of mayors went out to Notre Dame, but I'm going to let you guys go so you can get all the other callers on. But due to the weather's going to change and everybody, just be careful, be safe. And if you're a little bit older and, you've got to shovel snow, if you start to feel like you're getting tired, stop. Take a break. It's not worth hurting your health over it,
No, it isn't. So there was, they call it, and with the lake effect snow, a lot of times you kids, I say that, and I hate to say that, but the heart attack snow. I mean, once that gets heavy and wet, there's just no go slow and steady wins the race on that. Mm-hmm. There's no sense in, breaking your back over that. It's and if the snow's soft and everything, maybe lay down and make a snow angel, but don't do it in any yellow snow. Okay. And don't eat the yellow snow.
Don't
right.
Eat the yellow snow.
No, I said don't lay down. Don't lay down.
All right.
You can take a break.
Yeah, there was one thing that I wanted. I will shovel your driveway. Data rates may apply.
Jeez, Pete.
And also
did you know
depends on
we're
your
pimping out Joe for manual labor?
Yeah, we are.
I heard it was the Joe hiring day the other day.
It still is the Joe hiring day. Joe doesn't have a job.
It's the Joe hiring day
Paul,
every day.
I need to get to you. I was trying to fix up my resume because obviously, like.
Please tell me you. Oh no, you do have one. Okay.
Yes, I do. You've seen it.
Yeah, I laughed at it.
But I was trying to fix it because, like, I was just looking at it and I was like, oh dang, everything in here makes me sound like I can't lift over 20 pounds. You know what I mean? And like the second job, like I would like it to be like a little more.
You could throw how fast?
Yeah.
See?
You can't live. What does your resume look like that you can't?
Well, okay.
It's just.
Do they have lifting requirements on resumes
so we
now?
got Joe's resume. We almost didn't hire Joe. And I don't know if we told this story on the air, but we're going to tell it right now before we take a break. So we got the resume, and Sam gives me a resume. He's like, look at this. I was just like, okay. He's like, do you see anything wrong with that? I was just like, he could throw a fastball. That's in his skills. And
I could throw an 82-mile-an-hour fastball.
So then
still.
we took it into the. They were all having a meeting. They're just like, okay, we don't mean to stop the meeting here, but the requirements, the skill set, blah 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 blah, and can throw 82 miles an hour. Should we hire him just because of that?
Listen.
So then I was just like, give him a chance. If we don't like him, we'll fire him.
The point of why I did that was because obviously I wanted to be more in the sports area. I made that very clear to everybody, right?
And here you are.
And yeah, exactly. But anyways, I wanted to be in the sports area, and I was just trying to make a nice and funny way to be like, I love sports.
And you can do the sport things.
I can do the sports things. I can be there, talk about sports.
Coach.
Yeah. Hell, you can put me in if you need me to. Throw me into like a CCSJ game and see what happens.
Yeah, we almost didn't hire Joe because of his resume, and then me and Matt were just like, no, let's see, give him a chance.
I showed up for 7 days straight with the same resume.
Yeah.
And I just kept giving it to Adrianna or someone else. I was like, please hire me.
Because it was so funny. Because Jim was just like, okay, so you're gonna do the interviews and all that. I'm just like, I'm not I never did that. So then I remember I told you, I was like, well, here's what we do. And it was during, like, live on the morning show.
Yeah.
And I don't remember. I think it was either community programming or, like, Jim was there. I don't remember. But I was just like, yeah, so this is everything we do. Yeah, they'll call you. Just keep calling them because you got to call them, like, 4 times. And then on the 5th time, they're going to answer.
Yeah. Well, see, the point is, like, that I was making is, like, I want the second job that I'm going for, maybe to be like a little more labor based. So like, I don't know, maybe I should like put my bench press on there or something. No, I'm kidding. Obviously, I'm never gonna do anything.
You're
funny
gonna have
again.
like actual like guys that are just like full bodybuilders and be like, man, get out of here.
225, man, come on. All right, I think that's a fair place to take a break.
There you go.
That'll do it. We'll take a break here. We'll be right back in just a few minutes here on WJOB in Hammond, Indiana.
I was like, Bob.
We believe grocery shopping should be simple. Now, shopping is easier than ever with our new and improved website. Find what you need fast. Browse your favorite products, add them to your cart, and check out in just a few quick steps. Choose between convenient in-store pickup or let us handle the heavy lifting. From our shelves to your doorstep, skip the lines, shop your way, and spend more time on what matters most. With our rewards program, enjoy incredible savings and personalized offers every time you shop. Shop online now at strachanvantail.com or download our app today.
Democrats, when Obama was deporting 3 million as opposed to now. What do you think? What's the difference?
We're all looking at you, Jim. What do you think the difference is?
You're the libertarian. You have all the answers.
You know, Walt, I was thinking about the other day. You remember one of our callers brought up the protests at Ridge Road and Indianapolis Boulevard. I said, I've been around long enough. I remember they were out there every weekend under President Bush. They were always out there, no war, no blood for oil, all that stuff. Remember what happened when President Obama got elected? Those guys disappeared. I didn't see them again until Trump got elected. You know what I mean? I mean, that's,
right.
Again, that's the problem, is that we...
St. Nicholas Byzantine Catholic Church, located at 8103 Columbia Avenue in Munster, celebrates Divine Liturgy every Sunday at 9:30 a.m. We are Eastern Rite Catholics in union with the Pope, the Bishop of Rome. All Catholics who celebrate Divine Liturgy or Mass with us fulfill their Holy Day and Sunday obligations as they do in their own churches. Join us in person this coming Sunday to find out the beauty of a Byzantine Catholic Divine Liturgy at St. Nicholas Church.
We all want to sit here and go, everybody wants to protest when it's the other guy, but how dare we protest our guy? And we saw that. I lived there. I saw that every weekend. They were out there every weekend. The second President Obama was elected, I didn't see those guys again until...
But it's time. Listen, you got to catch up.
Yeah. I'll catch up with you. I'll be right back.
I'll see you in a minute.
Anything else? Yeah.
Well, what's up, boy? Hey, Ryan. Not tonight, man. Not tonight. Oh, yeah. You guys are right. Hey, come on. Let's go. Come in.
Are you searching for a college where you belong? Calumet College of St. Joseph wants to know you and give you the support you need to succeed. Are you worried about how you'll pay for your degree? 95% of our students receive financial aid, including scholarships and grants. Need some extra help with your classes? You'll benefit from our small class sizes, free tutoring, internship planning, faculty mentors, and so much more. Come experience our accepting, supportive college family for yourself. Schedule your campus visit and apply at ccsj.edu.
High school basketball postseason is here, with the girls starting February 3rd and boys March 3rd. Be on every game for as low as $1,500. Sponsor local. Reach...
Welcome back to Region Rundown here on WJOB, 1230 AM, 104.7 FM in rustic Hammond, Indiana. potential future maybe home of the maybe Chicago Hammond Bears. It is Friday, January 30th. We've got a winter storm warning coming later on this afternoon, starting at 3 p.m., going until 6. Adrianna, what's the traffic look like?
Traffic, as I'm fixing our graphic, traffic has not gotten any better. Let's take a look here. Traffic in the Northwest region, 65 going north and south is looking pretty good. 90 going east and west is looking good. Chicago Skyway is looking good. Lakeshore Drive, but we may have a little issue on 80 going east and west in over the border in Illinois. We have southbound crash on the Tri-State, I-294 80 north before Thornton Quarry. Yes, because mixing up those letters are fun. And also an accident let's see here. Accident where 3 left lanes are blocked. If it'll show me the correct one. Here we go. 3 left lanes blocked on the Tri-State South before Thornton Quarry. The update about 4 minutes ago. So expect some traffic in that area if you are headed that way. Looking into the Chicagoland area, the connector of the Bishop Ford Dan Ryan is looking pretty good. As we are looking at 94 going east and west is pretty good. We do have an accident reported on the Stevenson I-55 South at Central Avenue, exit 285, backed up to Illinois 50 Cicero Avenue, exit 286. Updated about 14 minutes ago. It's not showing significant traffic, but that could change, and we'll keep an eye on that. We do have another accident reported on the Eisenhower I-290 east at US 12, US 20, US 45, exit 17, updated about 5 minutes ago, as well as an accident where the left 3 lanes are blocked on the Eisenhower I-290 west at 25th Avenue, exit 18, backed up to Illinois 43 Harlem Avenue, exit 21B. That's causing significant traffic on the Eisenhower going east. So if you are headed in that direction, please be on the lookout for that. But as we're seeing, traffic near the O'Hare airports is looking pretty good. Joe, you got weather?
Yes, I do. All right. So for the weather today, we've gone over it a little bit. Actually, the inch of coating has been pushed back to 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., so expect about an inch then. It's going to be a high of 19 and a real feel of 11. And then obviously later in the afternoon, around 3 p.m., that's when the winter storm warning starts. That goes all the way into Saturday at 6 p.m., which you will be getting 3 to 6 inches of snow, a high of 22 and a real feel of 12. And then to roll out the weekend, it's going to be a high of 24, partially sunny, no snow though, and a real feel of 16. So, I don't know. Try and enjoy, I guess.
Do your best.
Yeah.
I want to. We've got a. I don't know that we'd call it a boatload, but possibly a kayak load of callers. So if we just want to hop right into callers before we get any more into NIPSCO Bears and at the 7 o'clock hour, memories of the Star Plaza Theater.
Hello, caller. Thank you for sitting in our kayak.
Well, thank you for accepting my call.
How you doing?
Let me just say that I'm doing great. I'm doing great.
So Monday, before we get to what you called about, I always kind of expect to hear you on Mondays, and we didn't hear you, and it was honestly it was maybe it was like
I was in L.A.
It was like Tuesday or Wednesday, and I thought, man, he didn't call in. So I just wanted to let you know I had a thought about you and hoped you were doing well.
Did you hear what I said? I was in Lower L.A., Lower Arkansas, my brother's funeral.
Well, I'm sorry to hear about that. Your loss. Sorry to hear about that.
Yeah, but I was listening to you though.
Okay. So what do you have for us today?
Let me just say, I am a big supporter of anybody who wants to protest the situation with NIPSCO. It affects all of us, regardless to Democrats, Republican, or whatever. It affects all of us. But sometimes we jump when the horse is out of the barnyard. In order to do that, right now, and I think Tom Davidson expressed it well the other week, that this was done because the Indiana Regulatory Commission is appointed by who? The governor, right? Okay,
correct.
If I'm wrong, I want you to correct me.
No,
okay.
You're correct.
So what's happening right now, we could get out there and protest all we want to. We're going to still have to pay this. I'm saying let's be ready to, we should have been ready to go to the present governor, Mike Braun, and saying, "How do you feel about these NIPSCO rates?" You put him on the thing, and if he say, "Well, I think it's terrible," which meaning he's going to appoint those people who would go along with what he's saying. And right now, I'm just telling you, and if anybody got a better answer than this, this is not going to change. You could have 1,000 people out there now in location, and nothing's going to happen. It's already set. We're going to have to pay that. Let's get ready for, I don't know how often they do this, probably every 4 years. Every time that NIPSCO wants some money, then they come to us. And I just happen to feel that right now, that ought to be a big issue. But like I say, you can have elected officials who coming out there and say, "Oh, I don't agree. This is terrible." But ain't nothing they could do about it right now. The Republicans are in super control of the state of Indiana. Everybody knows that, I believe. They are the super majority. So they're responsible for this, if anything. And I have to put politics, because politics is in everything. It's in the church.
It is.
So, but now you said that. I know you said that you've seen a lot of people out there when Obama. You didn't see anybody when Obama was there, and then you see people when Trump was there. But the reason you see that, because maybe they like what Obama was doing and they don't like what Trump is doing.
Well, that could be it, but I want to get back to the.
But you gotta come with me. You gotta when you say something like that, I'm going to respond in a hopefully a decent. I'm not being combative, trying to fight you. I'm just saying I heard what you said, and I said, oh, he said that's true. Maybe Obama was doing a good job, and maybe Trump is not doing a good job. Okay, now go ahead. I'm sorry, young man.
No. You're fine. I want to go back to this idea that who can do what about the NIPSCO rate increases. These were all done and passed last year, and since the time the IURC has 5 commissioners that are appointed by the governor, and they are on staggered terms. So not all 5 are replaced at the same time. They're on staggered terms. Since that the rate case was passed, 3 of the 5 members have been replaced by the governor. And so I think while they may not be blasting personnel issues out to the world, I think it's something to note. And they had a very public interview process for the new commissioners. You can go on YouTube and you can watch the interview process that they created an interview board to interview these commissioners. It was public. It was on YouTube. It was the first of this. I want to say it was towards the end of December, beginning of January. Again, after these rates were passed. And so the majority of the board has been replaced. And as I look on social media, as I see people commenting and they say, we need to get Braun out of office, we need to fire these commissioners, I would argue that the timeline of this is these rates. The rate case was agreed to. It was passed. It was done. They had hearings all over northern Indiana. I don't want to just say northwest Indiana, but all over northern Indiana. This was all done 6-9 months ago, and since then, and I don't know how much of this particular rate case had anything to do with it, but a majority of the commissioners of the IURC have been replaced in the last several months. And so, again, I see on Facebook, and I just don't know that that's public. It's public knowledge, but I don't know if it's commonly known. And so I think that you might see different decisions down the line. At whatever could be done now with it, it's going to take some type of legislative action, something by NIPSCO, something by the. I don't even know if the commission has the authority on their own to reopen a rate case. Again, this may have to be a legislative thing.
Oh, no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Young man, what's your first name?
I'm Bob.
Hello, Bob. Let me just say this, Bob. You know how this works. The way it works. When NIPSCO is asking for a rate hike, what they normally do they come to every community, and hundreds of people. And I've been a part of that protesting, and we were able to. I turned out. Let me see. I think it was about 800 or 900 people at IU Northwest about 15 years ago, and we were able to defeat that because everywhere they went, we kept it hot. But so you can't say now that it's passed, the horse is out of the barnyard. Hey, we're gonna have this elected official who had nothing to do with it. It's Moran's fault, and we know that. And if Tom is listening down in Florida, he dealt with that last week and told him it wasn't the Democrats, it was the Republican who were appointed by the governor. Okay, appointed by the governor. So again, I'm not hating on NIPSCO, but I'm just simply saying that NIPSCO is too much, and I'm definitely against this rate. But now we're going to have to live with it. We're going to have to do. We might as well to worry about now why the government is not going to be shut down this today. It was no. We're not talking about that. See, a lot of times these issues. I'm an issue-oriented person, and I don't deal with stuff that I don't know anything about. When I tell you something, you can take that to the bank. And I applaud anybody who wants to get out there and protest now about NIPSCO, but I'm not going to get out there and protest because it's not going to make any difference. It's not going to change. Now, next time around, when that time is coming up and NIPSCO asks something, I ask them, you need to know the procedure, okay? Young lady, I think you know the procedure. You're pretty smart. I believe, Bob, you know it, And again, that's where we are here now. And I try not to put politics into everything. But in America, politics is everything. I mean, it's just you can't get around it. That's how they get elected by saying what they think people like. But I can tell you this, in concluding, I can tell you this here. Right now, Donald Trump approval rating is like 36%, I believe. And correct me if I'm wrong. 36, I would say 36, 37%. The lowest of any president of the United States, because there's too much going on in America. It's too much going on throughout the world, and it's affected this. And so I'm just simply saying right now, let's understand the process. And when you understand, when you know the process, then call me and say, I guess it'll be probably 2 or 3 more years. NIPSCO gonna come be asking for some more money, and I'm ready to. When they come to my community, I ask you to join me and hundreds of others, and we can stop it. Okay. With that, you all have a blessed day. I hope I made a lot of sense what I was saying.
Hey, thanks for calling in.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
So I actually just looked up because that is one thing. What is the alternative to NIPSCO? And a lot of people are just like, there is no alternative. This is all that we have. So just a quick Google search, and yes, there's probably more in depth that we can go with it. It says, yes, there are alternatives to NIPSCO for natural gas supply through NIPSCO Choice Program, which doesn't... There, I'm just like, okay. But it says Nordic Energy and Santana Energy are recognized providers in the NIPSCO area.
Right, and that's all based on where you live.
True.
But again, you're putting a middleman into in between you and NIPSCO, and if you're already paying enough on NIPSCO, I don't know, what a middleman.
Oh, they threw in another one there. Just Energy. Just energy. That's all I want. Just energy, please.
Yeah. But no. So that the commission has changed.
Mm-hmm.
Has changed leadership. Again, the majority of it. So we will see. I don't know, but I personally have had conversations with a number of the local elected leaders, knowing that in the first opening line of every phone call that I've had with Sherrville and Griffith and St. John and Winfield is we said, look, there is nothing local officials can do about this. There is nothing. And by local, I mean your town and city councils. There's aside from getting together and drafting a strongly worded letter, there is nothing we can do. If you're looking to have some type of change, it is going to be these NIPSCO itself or these state legislators. They have at least the authority to direct some type of whether it's an investigation or any type of change. We're in the same boat. With the new year, I became the president of the Tri-Town Safety Village in Cherville, and that's a nonprofit organization that takes elementary school kids for field trips. We have a giant, it's a house that we can fill with smoke that the kids learn how to escape from a second story window. We talk rail safety, police and fire safety. It's a nonprofit organization. In the winter, we keep everything as low as possible. You think it's cold in here in this studio? We keep it cold there. Yeah. $2,900 was our NIPSCO bill, and we're keeping it just warm enough so that the pipes don't freeze.
Yeah.
And so this is as elected officials, as people out there, we are struggling with how to pay for a lot of these things. I can't possibly imagine. We had last year we had several schools have referendums on the ballot and looking for extra income. I cannot imagine how expensive it is now. You think getting a $600 bill for your 3,500 square foot house that you're heating at 67 degrees, you think that's expensive? Can you possibly imagine how much it has gone up for all of these businesses? Mm-hmm. And so, I don't know if there's several Facebook pages out there now. I think one of them is NIPSCO Madness or something to that effect, because there's no real emergency unless it's on Facebook somehow.
Yeah.
And everybody's just they all have the same issue. Is 2 years ago I was paying $200 less, $100 less, and
it's NIPSCO bill. I was asking my family. I was like, yeah, this is an issue. They're like, well, yeah. I had to hear from my little grandma. She was just like, yeah, $500. I was like, what do you mean $500? It's just you. But
yeah,
it's one of those things you keep it low enough. I'm like, okay, everybody bundle up, but then also that's something that shouldn't need to happen.
No, it is so expensive. We can go to a caller and see what they say.
Yep.
Caller, thanks for.
Are you as depressed as us with the NIPSCO bills?
How's it going, caller?
Well, my concern about the direction of the price of energy is as big as anybody else's, and I predicted it 3 years ago with where we would be headed, and didn't get a whole lot of response. I think people thought I was maybe joking, but in any case, here's the problem I have with elected officials around here. You say there's nothing you can do. Yes, there is. You can loudly and clearly, on a bipartisan basis, not just once, have public meetings, send them a letter, have public hearings, let people step forward and tell their story. Why I don't understand why you Republicans have so much trouble understanding that there are things you can do, and not the least of which is let the higher authorities to know how bad it is and to keep it up. Not just once, not but twice, but keep it up. Keep those letters going in, keep the public hearings, and on a bipartisan basis where elected Democrat and Republican officials go public and it gets in the front pages of the paper with the sorry stories that are out there and so forth. But the problem I have with the Republican leadership is you're so weak and so ineffective and lacking imagination. Why?
Well, I think you see it on the front page of the news. It has become so much now that there was, the Chicago media market is now doing stories on this. They just interviewed the CEO of NIPSCO. I have to imagine that he's probably one of the most in-demand people for interviews. So I think the people are getting out there.
Public meetings? Where are the public meetings with Democrat and elected Republican and Democrat officials shoulder to shoulder and having hearings all over the NIPSCO area, and keep it up, keep the pressure up. I mean, the Democrats, they always find reasons to do. They even resort to violence and still get their way. And we're not talking about that. We're talking about make it very clear and persistent that this is a bipartisan issue, and to let the politicians downstate know that we're serious. We're serious, and it's not just a one time and forget about it. No. You got to keep the pressure up, and that's. But I'm baffled as to why there's that lack of understanding, particularly on the Republican side of things. Wow.
Well, I guess I don't know. Aside from, I mean, I could, I could call a town hall meeting in Dyer and have people come up again and just, share their stories. But I think that's happening now. I mean, so much so, again, that you've got the Chicago media market in there. There's a couple reps that are having a town hall about it at the laborers local sometime next week or the week after. So I think folks are getting out. They are doing those things. It may be frustrating because it's not because it's not every single day. But I don't know how you would organize that. I don't know. I don't want to say I don't know what the.
Have you contacted any of your Democrat counterparts and say, let's get together and have public meetings? Let me tell you something.
I have had many conversations with Mayor Josh Huddleston in Hobart. I've had conversations with Council President Robin Arvanitis out of Cherville.
I didn't say conversations. I said to talk to them about getting together and having public meetings together. Why do you're evading the import of what I'm saying? This is a good example of what I'm talking about.
Okay.
You say, well, the Chicago media, the downstate people, they have no idea what's going on up here. None. Having knocked around grassroots politics, I was elected delegate to the Republican convention twice.
You and me. I've got 5 or 6 under my belt. They absolutely know what's going on. I wouldn't buy for an instant that Indianapolis is in a silo and they don't know what's going on. They just they were just having these. I want to say it was House Bill 1002, where they were talking about energy issues. So they know what's going on.
I asked you a question. Have you contacted your counterpart to get a campaign of public meetings, which would probably get coverage from the Times, the Post Tribune, and over.
I said I did. I just said I did. I said I've been talking with these folks to see what we can do about it.
I didn't say talk. I said, did you talk to them about organizing a public campaign, a visible public campaign? Yes or no?
No. What? I mean, we
already
have a town hall meeting next week or the week after. They already have these things. I mean, I guess I don't know what you're looking for other than to say I want every elected
approach. A bipartisan approach.
And I just said we were having conversations. I mean, you don't just wake up and say, okay, we're having a meeting now. You have to talk with these folks to see where they're at in their communities, to see what we can do about it.
Well, what are they saying when you ask them about having a joint public meeting? Have you asked them that?
We're all in the same boat.
You're a really good evader.
No, I have to say I think you're wrong on this. I think there's anger about it, but what I'm confused about is, we're on social media, we are in the press, they are having these town halls, and that's exactly what you're asking for. You're asking for people to come out and express their angst.
That's what I'm asking for, Joe. It would be news to have elected Democrat and Republican officials meet on the same stage and say, on this issue, we're all together. Visible. I don't expect you to throw rocks. I don't expect you to spit on anybody. I don't expect you to do anything like the Democrats do and get away with it. But there are things you can do, and I don't see it.
Well, I'm sorry you don't see it, but maybe come out to that town hall at Laborers 41, see who shows up there. I mean, you just can't have a rally every single day on this topic. But
then that's for every day.
Okay, so
then that's for every day.
Oh,
what are you talking about?
So I just said there's a meeting next week, and you're saying that's not enough, but then you're saying that not every day. So I guess I'm lost in translation on this here.
How large of an area does NIPSCO cover?
About a third of the state.
Okay, there's plenty of geography to have these meetings at different locations throughout the area.
Certainly.
Yeah,
and I have no clue. So we talked for a second about Facebook. Nobody legislates through Facebook, but it's just that's what you get on and you doom scroll. There's a hugely active group again for Northwest Indiana. I have no clue what's going on in North Central Indiana, St. Joe County area. I have no clue what's going on in Northwest.
Maybe you gotta find out.
East Indiana, and. Yeah, I mean, I would hope that those elected officials.
Maybe there should be a coordinated effort throughout the upper third of the state of Indiana, that you know what's going on. That's what being organized means.
Okay.
Yeah. No. I agree with you, but
publicly organized, not talking in back rooms or over the phone, or that's not what I'm talking about. I'm assuming there is that conversation going on, but a very public, organized approach.
I would hope so.
Okay, so is the point here, and it's just like me being curious. So how Bob's saying that they're having conversations, you're saying that you want to see action upon those conversations. Is that correct?
I want to see first public meetings, bipartisan meetings, elected Democrat and Republican officials standing shoulder to shoulder all across the NIPSCO service area, from west to east. And they can be organized if they want to, but they really don't.
Okay, so yes, you agree that you want to see action upon these conversations. Now,
bipartisan, visible.
Okay, so
do I?
now with this. Yes, these conversations need to happen to be able to get to that point. A lot of people are upset about this, and they are going to continue to be upset about this.
Of course they are.
Eventually, yes, I think what you are trying to get at, we will see. But I think it's going to take a little bit more time. I don't think it's going to happen as much as we would like for it to happen overnight, and then to be like, hey, listen, we're done. We don't want we're tired of paying these overpriced bills. As much as we want to see it happen overnight, I think it's going to take a little bit more time than that. I don't see I'm not saying I don't agree with you that yes, something needs to get done, but I think it's as much as we don't want to wait on the conversations have to happen.
So I got the information for this utilities town hall at Laborers Local 41 in Munster, Saturday, February 7th, so a week from tomorrow, from 1 to 3. I tell everyone to come on out.
Who are the politicians that are going to be there?
It looks like State Rep Andrade and State Rep Matt Pierce.
I don't know Pierce. What party is he with?
I don't know. I believe he is on, I think he might be on the House Utilities Committee.
What party is he in?
I don't know that, Walt.
Okay. Wow.
All right, well, it is 7 o'clock, so we are going to take a break real quick. Thank you, Walt, for calling in. We are going to take a break. I'm looking at the time. It is 7:01 a.m. We got to say our station ID numbers as per usual. Friday, January 3rd. You are listening to the Region Rundown with Bob and Adrianna on WJLB, 1230 a.m., 104.7 FM in Hammond, Indiana. Don't go anywhere. Our kayak of callers, we will take you in just a little bit.
For over 140 years, the Central Midwest Carpenters have built our communities in Northwest Indiana. Are you ready to join the effort? We have long-term work, competitive pay, and the best benefits in the industry. We pride ourselves on innovative training and commitment to worksite safety. Earn as you learn as an apprentice. A solid career built on a solid legacy. For more info, go to carpenters.com.
Have you ever considered becoming an iron worker? Local 395 is now accepting applications for their apprenticeship program. Go to ironworkers395.com. Look under the training section, click on apprenticeship, and scroll down to the application. You must be 18 years old, have a high school diploma or GED, and you must be physically able to perform the work of the trade. Find out more by calling the apprenticeship school in Lake Station at 219-962-7675 or visit ironworkers395.com.
At Strachan Van Til, we believe grocery shopping should be simple. Now, shopping is easier than ever with our new and improved website. Find what you need fast. Browse your favorite products, add them to your cart, and check out in just a few quick steps. Choose between convenient in-store pickup or...
Looking for a place to enjoy great food and great games? Head to Doc's Barbecue in Dyer. Indulge in Southern-style hickory smoked meats served in a fun, welcoming atmosphere. Want to catch the latest local Jet TV basketball games? Just ask and they'll have it on one of their 15 big-screen TVs. Whether you're here for the food, the fun, or the hoops, Doc's has something for everyone. Stop by Doc's Smokehouse on Calumet Avenue in Dyer, where flavor and sports come together.
For a fast and friendly car wash, go to Easy Clean Car Wash. Open 7 days a week in 4 convenient locations: Highland, Griffith, Cherville, and Lansing. Free vacuuming, air freshener, and a towel with every wash. It's fast, safe, and gentle. For more information and hours of all our locations, visit myeasyclean.com. Also, see how you can wash your car daily with our $10 Ultimate Wash for only $19.99 per month. Give your car the best clean at Easy Clean Car Wash.
Want to live life at max volume? Then look no further than Hard Rock Casino, Northern Indiana. With over 1,700 slots, 80 table games, live entertainment, and 5 restaurants which span a wide range of culinary genres, we are sure to have something for everyone. Whether you want to indulge in a savory dish at Council Oaks Steaks and Seafood, or take in dinner and live music at the world-renowned Hard Rock Cafe. Amplify your entertainment experience at Hard Rock Casino, Northern Indiana. Just off Exit 6, I-8094. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9 with...
Welcome back, everyone. This is Region Rundown here on WJOB, 1230 AM, 104.7. It is 7:06 here in rustic Hammond, Indiana on Friday, January 30th. Let's take a look at traffic for all of those folks getting to work.
Okay, well, we're going to look at traffic for quite a minute here. Traffic in the Northwest region, we're looking at 65 going north and south is looking pretty good all the way down. We're seeing 90 going east and west is looking good, as well as the Chicago Skyways. But we do got a little issue on 80 going east and west as we head more towards into Illinois. Again, on the tri-state I-290, 80 north before the Thornton Quarry, have a southbound crash, as well as accident. 2 left lanes are blocked. That is on south before the Thornton Quarry. And that's continues on as another accident partially blocking the exit ramp on the tri-state I-290 80 south at Dixie Highway, reported and updated about 8 minutes ago, as well as that is going south. Is that? Yep. So south, so 80 as you are headed more towards into Illinois going west and east is going to be backed up quite heavily. We do have a bit of traffic right there on I-57 going south. I-57 south going west. So right there on the connector, right as you get into Chicago, you're going to see a bit of traffic there. But yeah. So we have a bit of traffic going there. Take a look at Stevenson going north and going south. You're going to have a bit of traffic, especially on the south side on the Stevenson I-55 south at Central Avenue. There's an accident with the left lane blocked, and that is backed up to California Avenue, exit 289. So I have a bit of traffic going that area. Taking a look at the Eisenhower again, we're seeing those accidents that we saw earlier. Accident right lane blocked on the Eisenhower I-290 east at US 12, US 20, exit 17, as well as the Eisenhower is closed due to an accident west between 25th Avenue, exit 18, and US 12. That is backed up to Austin Boulevard. It is an overturned box truck. Crews have reclosed the outbound Eisenhower as they try to upright the box truck. So we have a bit of traffic on that area. If we're looking towards the airports by O'Hare, 90 going east and west is looking a little heavy in traffic, but not too bad. So that is your traffic report for today. We're going to keep an eye on those accidents for you as we continue on through the show. Joe, you got weather for us?
Yup. So, obviously not much has changed since the last time we talked. The inch of coating that I was talking about earlier gets pushed back to 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Today, and then obviously the winter storm ensuing starting at 3 p.m. It's going to be a high of 19 today with a real feel of 11. That winter storm warning is going to fall into Saturday all the way until 7 p.m., 6 p.m. It's going to be a high of 22 and a real feel of 12. And also be expecting about 3 to 6 inches of snow on Saturday. And then to round out the weekend, the snow will go away, but the cold won't, and you'll have a high of 24 with a real feel of 16.
Oh my goodness, we're getting a heat wave.
Heat wave.
Woo.
Paul Goddard just mentioned in the comments, 80 east at Thornton Quarry, car on top of a median.
Wow.
Down to one lane on the far right side.
Car on top of the median. I know. I'm like on top of the median.
I have only ever seen a car flip one time. I was over by River Oaks Mall, and I remember it was an old Lincoln. I don't know anything about cars. You know, there's some guys that you can, a car will drive by and they can tell you, oh,
exactly
that's a '67 Lincoln.
I just know I know when cars have mods because I hear the rev of the engine and then it goes pop 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 pop. I'm like, yep, you got mods on your car.
there was a beast of a car, and it just went airborne and flipped, and that's the only time I've ever seen.
You saw some Fast and Furious.
Yeah, there was
by River Oaks?
Yeah, by River Oaks. So that's.
I actually saw a dude run a red light the other day on the intersection of 30 or 41, like going.
Look at you knowing your street names.
Wow.
going north on 30 and then taking a right onto 41.
Yeah.
Sorry, hey, we've got new traffic guy here.
New traffic, yeah.
No, I was
there
actually going to mention you were killing it. You like no stuttering or nothing. Like that's some impressive stuff for me and you that like most people don't understand.
Trying so hard not to stutter. It was funny because before we get to, I believe our kayak has turned into a boat.
We've got all sorts of people here.
So one of my family members are looking to join into the military, and they're looking to go into the Marines. And they called me. I believe it was like a Monday. I remember it was a snow day. They called me, and I was like, "Hold on, I'll call you in like 2 minutes." I answer their phone. They're like, so I talked to the colonel. Oh my gosh, I wanted to like die. Because I'm just like, yeah, that's definitely one thing. Because they stutter a lot, and that's just a natural thing. They're a very nervous speaker when it comes to somebody of authority. Now, of course, military, you'll whip you right into shape. But he was like, I've never been so shaky on the phone, and I had to be like, yes, sir, no, sir. And I was like, yeah. He was like, I don't know how you do this, like not stutter to people. I'm like, oh no, there are moments where my heart's beating boom, 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 like I can't do that. And I was like, so how'd it go? They're like, well, they're gonna let me know in a week or a week and a half. What if they don't like me? I was like, they're gonna like you. It's okay. Dude, I was like, sana colita de rana. You're fine. It's all right.
And I have no clue what you just said there.
So sana colita de rana is basically in Hispanic culture is like, oh, like the pain will go away, like they're there. But if you translate it, it's like heel frog of spit butt. That's what it translates to. So
Wow,
in Spanish,
okay
it
then.
sounds a lot better.
Okay, then.
And that's what you tell children when they get hurt. It's like, okay, there, you're fine.
Spanish is
All
a
right,
very romantic.
but
language.
before we get,
It is.
we've got a ton of callers there. Before we get to that, I want to do my Friday morning moment here.
Oh, yes.
That Liam is about to head off to school. He's got a
Hi,
math
Liam.
test and a spelling test. The spelling words are insane.
What's like
this
his
week?
most
I-
challenging, I should say, or at least from what you see, you're like, how are you supposed to be spelling this?
Yeah,
at this
you
age?
know it. I think epilogue was one of them. So he's in 4th grade, and I see you over. I see your eyes thinking, how do you spell epilogue?
I can't
and
spell.
it's he's going to knock it out of the park. So, buddy,
Good luck,
take
Leo.
your time today. You did great at math last night. You're going to do a good job. So that's my weekly point of privilege for 2 minutes.
There you go. You got this with decomposing
yeah.
fractions?
Yeah.
Go you.
You got it, buddy. So,
Composing fractions.
all right, let's go ahead
Let's go to our
and
kayak.
take some callers here. We're before we took our break, we were talking about NIPSCO and the angst with some of those bills here. At some point in time, I'd like to shift gears here, but we've got a bunch of callers. Caller, you're on the air. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, good morning.
Yeah, Bob.
Welcome
Are
back.
you there, Bob?
I'm always here.
Bob. Huh?
I'm always here.
Okay. You're a politician, right?
That's what they tell me.
Okay. Why aren't we talking about what's going on right now? I'm going to tell you, Adrianna probably already know, there's an election going on here right now. You got the next Friday to file. So if you're going to complain about the politicians, you need to talk, when people don't turn out to vote, the majority, let me ask you, what's the percentage of people in your community who vote, percentage-wise? I know I live in Gary, and I can tell you, and I'll tell you mine. Mine is terrible in terms of participation. People vote, but they complain all the time.
Oh, it is, and I hate to answer a question with a question, but it depends on when it is. You know, you get the presidential year, everybody likes coming out to vote for president, but we've got these midterms coming up, and there's like half of the people that vote for that, and then next year are the local municipal elections that even half of that number come out to vote. So, I mean, I don't know.
Okay.
Forget presidential. I don't know that we ever crack 25-30%.
No, I think more like 21% in Lake County last time. Now, there's a countywide offices being held right now, and if you out there and you complaining about it, then you ought to go down there to the election board and file for these offices. You got, I believe, a lot of those people are recycling. They've been there forever, and apparently the people feel okay because they don't go out and vote for them, and you're going to blame them. Now, there's a guy, you know Tom Smith, the Cherryville?
Yeah, Tom Schmidt, yeah.
He's a hell of a guy. I mean, that guy I've been to his things, and sometimes I don't even live there, but I like the fact of the matter is he communicates with people. Last time I was there, I think he had a thing, they were naming Mervan Legislator of the Year. And he must have had, and basically he knows how to cross the aisle, too. He's a Democrat. So I'm just simply saying that right now, that Andorra, I believe it was the place I went to, Andorra on
Yeah,
Indianapolis Road.
right by the movie theaters over there.
Right. That guy had, I would say, probably as many as 300 or 400 people in that place.
Could
And
be.
he was saluting, of course, Frank Mervan, the Legislator of the Year. So I'm just saying I have the utmost respect for that guy because when he runs, he get out there, and then when he's not running, and he's just helping people throughout. He's not just concerned with Cherryville. He's called me, and I've responded in that fashion, you know. So I'm just simply saying that right now, I have yet to hear anybody talk about there's an election going on here. There's an election, and you got to next Friday, and a lot of those seats is not even contested. See, that's the problem. And when people see this, they say, well, it ain't going to make no difference, so they just don't go and vote. Like you say, presidential election, yes, they do, okay. Presidential, sometime municipal, in my city of Gary, doing the mayor's thing, they vote. But what about all these county offices? That's basically what's up right now. if you got a town a councilman who serves in Crown Point, you know, we got two representatives for Gary. We got Charlie Brown and we got the other one's Ron Brewer, I believe. So there, I don't know if Charlie would be running again. I don't think so. I'm putting it out there. But I'm just simply saying that right now, I've served in that thing. I served for 2 terms on the township board, and I ran and I didn't run. People ask me, "You ought to get out there and run again." I'm not running. I know that I'm pretty popular on WJOB, and I know they'll vote for me 100%. So I said to them, I said, Tom Smith, I said, why don't you get on this radio sometime? And he's probably listening to me now. Why you putting my name out there? You might hurt me. No, he wouldn't say that. That would hurt me.
Tom Schmidt and I, we work with Tom Schmidt and I had a meeting on Wednesday. We both sit on the Tri-Town Safety Board together, and so I'm just
simply saying that right now I know the process, and I've urged people to do. I have announced this over WLTH, and I have yet to hear them visit and say, if you're interested in it, if you're not satisfied with what's going on, then you put your name. I could almost bet you right now that, and I don't want to say this, but I believe there may be some uncontested race in the 1st Congressional District in terms of the party. That's just my guess. There will be a number of Republicans who put their hat in the ring. And some people want to say, well, if we're going to go with this Republican, we don't like our 1st District Councilman. But our District Councilman, he has, Congressman, he's done a superb job, and he deserved to be in Washington as long as he want to be. With that, have a great day.
Hey, you too. Thank you. You did bring up one good point. The filing deadline is next Friday at noon, not 12:01. Not I'm walking in the building at noon. You've got to have because it's all based on their timestamp at the Board of Elections. So next Friday by noon, February 6th is the deadline to file for candidate of major party nomination. Let's go ahead and go to our next caller.
Yep. Good morning, caller. You are on the air. What's on your mind for today?
Is it me?
Yes, it is.
It is you.
Oh. I wasn't going to call back, but I remember you kept saying at the top of the hour we're going to talk about the Holiday Star Theater, because I forgot I wanted to bring it in, but
yes,
I only tried calling once, but let me tell you about a few experience about the Holiday Star Theater, because me and my sister used to go every year New Year's Eve to see the Oak Ridge Boys.
Oh,
me and my sister.
I think we're going to stay on the phone for a while here because I've got stories of that. But let me, while you're on the air, let me take 1 second to pause and say why I wanted to talk about the Star Plaza real quick. Yesterday, so in Dyer, we're building a new band shell. There's going to have a green room in there. I acquired row U from door 7. The auditorium seats that we're going to put in the green room there. So we're going to have a little bit of Star Plaza history in Dyer. I worked there. My mom worked there for over a dozen years. So we've got a lot of memories there. So yes, the New Year's shows with the Oak Ridge Boys. Tell us your stories.
Yeah. So like every year, me and my sister used to every year go to the Star Theater and see the Oak Ridge Boys New Year's Eve, and we'd be at the show where they do the countdown. Everything was wonderful. And then one morning I got up, me and my wife was going down Route 30, and we were right there at the corner of 30 and Broadway where the White Castle is, and I look over to the left and I see 2 movie star buses pulled into the White Castle. And we were stuck for that light. And guess who got out to go in and get White Castles? The Oak Ridge Boys.
Yeah.
But the wonderful thing about the Holiday Star Theater is our daughter, when she had children and they were young, she used to go to that Holiday Star and take the kids, because they used to have that Sesame Street over there, and that
Street
big
Live.
yellow duck thing. And I mean,
Big Bird.
Our children and all of our families and like so many people in Northwest India went to the Holiday Star. that place had so many things. They had their concerts, they had this, but they had so much variety that it was to me, it was a family value Holiday Star Theater because, my daughter, my grandkids, we would go to concerts. It was nice. That's about all I got to say on that. But now Joe, have you ever been down to Louisville, Kentucky?
I've driven through it.
All right. Well, you might want to drop your resume off over there along on the south side. Yeah, on the south side of the river. If you take 64 east from there, there's a Joe's Crab Shack right along the river, Ohio River.
You think I could run
it? You'd fit right in there, But
do they wear pajamas too all the time?
I'm not wearing
pajamas.
Yeah. you're in loungewear.
Well,
this is what I wear every day.
Now, I'm going to let everybody else talk about the wonderful memories of the Holiday Star Theater, but can I give a weather report as a politician? I might be lying now. Okay, I'm going to give you a quick weather report. I live in South Hammond, and I've got 6 inches of snow just came down in my yard in Hammond. Now, am I a good politician, or am I telling the truth, or am I lying?
Let's flip a coin.
I was going to say, let's see the proof on that one. My first thought when you said that is I wondered if the snow fell off your roof.
I was going to be like, please no. I'm going to go to work after this.
How about we all just talk about the good old days and the Holiday Star Theater? And, there was a lot of other stuff that went on in this area many years ago with the Holiday Star Theater, but I'm going to let you go, and I'd like to hear some other the callers' memories of the Holiday Star Theater.
Thank you so much.
Sounds
now, before we
good.
go to the next caller, I'm just trying to think in my head, and this is when we need. Remember we were talking about I'll give you a pair of glasses, you give me a box of crayons when I act like the very very Gen Z part of it. I'm trying to remember, and if my parents are awake getting ready for work, they can send me a text. I don't even know if I've ever been to the Star Theater, and if I have, I was probably very very little when they had a show.
Yeah, I was good. I mean, because it's been down for
a while
for quite a while.
So
that's why I was so excited.
How long has it been?
I don't know. Maybe someone in the YouTube comments or someone could, when we get to the calls here, maybe someone knows. I'm going to say 10 years, but only because now everything is 10 years for me. It's been down for quite a while.
The moment, however old the child is, that's where we go based off of.
That's what it is. So everything is 10 years.
For instance, my brother, he was born in 2000. So we base everything off of the year 2000.
Yeah.
Even regardless, they're like, oh yeah, how old's the roof? Oh well, they were doing it while he was sitting in the cradle over there, so about 25, 26 years.
I had both Becca and Chuck just tell me it was 2017, so 9 years. So that's
you're almost there.
I was close to that.
But even then, maybe.
My story with the Star Plaza was I went to a church in Dyer. There was a church in Dyer called First Christian Church of Dyer.
Yes.
And one of the guys there, his name was Jim Holly. He ran just about all of the stage operations there, and he did that for a very long time. My mom was. I don't know exactly what they want to say her title was, but she was the head caterer there for 10 or 12 years. So as these acts would come in, they would send their rider, and their rider was just hey, we want this to drink, we want this in our dressing rooms. I want a bowl of M&Ms, but no green M&Ms. All of those lists. So she would
I think
get
that's
those,
the goal, to be as famous, to be that picky
to
on
pick
my
that
M&Ms.
stuff up. And so so she would be the one to prepare all of that stuff.
Yes.
So whether it was for a while, she would steam their garments, or she would get all their food together, prep some of those rooms. They had a position called they just called a runner, which was. So the last caller mentioned that he saw the Oak Ridge Boys over at the White Castle getting stuff. Well, a lot of times, when the act is there, the talent is there, they would need a runner to drive them around somewhere, because you're not going to take a big old tour bus somewhere.
Yeah,
so they would just hop in, and my mom did that for many years, and then of course in high school that was I started working there in high school, just as an usher in the front, and occasionally I'd help her backstage. But that was such an awesome job to have in high school, that you're just at this big theater with these big acts. Towards the end, the last few years of the Star Plaza, the type of folks that would come in there, they were either on their way up in the music charts or they were on their way down. It was a good starter place before they would get the big Chicago gigs, and then as their career kind of ebbed and flowed, they would come back there when they weren't selling
Any
out.
big names you remember?
Oh my gosh!
Now that they became all famous and such.
A ton. And now you have to remember, and this is the context of the late 90s.
Yes.
So so right before
Here we go, Joe Trivia.
Yeah, here we go. It was big for rock bands. I mean, they would have the Cheap Trick and Motley Crue. They'd have a lot of country stars come through there. Garth Brooks did perform there one time right before he really exploded. But Winona, Alabama, Oak Ridge Boys was a staple. So really a lot of the 90s country acts were there a lot. But they had, even some other staples were folks like B.B. King were there all the time. Yeah, they had the whatever iteration of, I think, the Four Tops. I mean, they really had a pretty diverse group. You would have on one weekend, you would have Winona and 2 or 3 opening country acts. So you'd have all these country folks in there. And that would be on Friday. And then Saturday would be, George Clinton and the P-Funk All-Stars. And you'd have a completely different set of folks in there.
Yeah.
And then the following weekend, they would have the Salvation Army would hold, a convention there or something. So, I mean, it really was a staple
all
for
around
decades of that. And let's see, we got
I say, you want to look at the YouTube?
Yeah,
Goddard's
there's
something.
Goddard's got David Copperfield was at the Star. Even some the last caller mentioned Sesame Street Live. They had a bunch of kids programming.
That's probably one thing that I did see as a kid, because I remember see like the very, very faint memory. I was just like, oh yeah, I see them on TV.
They had so there was I don't know if. So this is an interesting bit here. I don't. R. Kelly was at the Star, and now again
Really?
this was in the early 2000s maybe. So we're 20 years on from whatever R. Kelly's got going on now.
Yeah.
I specifically remember for his show. Now there was nothing nefarious at the show. But looking back, you now see how
You're
how
like,
tacky.
wait a minute.
So they had, and if there's probably a dozen people out there in the region that might remember this, they made the stage crew put together a queen size bed and put it on stage for part of his thing.
God.
And that was,
quite interesting to see.
It was.
After knowing all this stuff that we
in Hammond, Indiana, and we'll be back in 2 minutes.
If you're thinking of finishing your basement, installing outdoor security cameras, or your business has plans to break ground on a new project in 2024, Powering Indiana, Lake County is your source for the region's best electricians. With IBEW, Local 697 electricians, you're choosing the highest level of safety and reliability. Visit poweringindiana.org today and ensure your project is in the hands of skilled professionals.
Embrace every opportunity. At Indiana University Northwest, you'll research alongside experts, develop career-ready skills, and accomplish your lifelong dreams. Whatever your goal may be, achieve it here close to home at IU Northwest, right here in the region. Join us for a life-changing learning experience at the best price university in Northwest Indiana. It all begins at northwest.iu.edu. Bring on tomorrow at Indiana University Northwest.
Teen parents face overwhelming challenges, but with the right support, they can build bright futures for themselves and their children.
Mental Health America's ETAP program provides education, mentorship, and resources to help young parents graduate.
Right now, your donation goes twice as far. Thanks to a generous match, every dollar given up to $30,000 is doubled, but only until March 31st.
Scan the QR code, visit mhanwi.org, or mail your check to ETAP Match today.
Truck drivers, have you been searching for a more reliable driving job? Get the paychecks and predictability you need as a Schneider driver. Schneider's large selection of driving jobs means you can get the home time that suits your schedule. Choose from daily, weekly, monthly, or sometime in between. Plus, Schneider drivers have access to great benefits with a 401k match and a 24/7 support team. Get the keys to a better driving job. Search openings near you and apply now at schneiderjobs.com.
Welcome back. We are at 7:34 here in the region on Friday, January 30th. Let's get right into the calls because we have a ton of them there.
We got traffic and weather.
We do. Okay, traffic
It's clearing
and weather.
up. It's clearing. Actually, no. I'm sorry. I'm lying to people. It's not clearing up. It's getting worse.
So here in Northwest Indiana, unless someone's got a report, everything is looking pretty good here in Northwest Indiana. There's nothing of note on 8094. But as soon as you get into Chicago, once you cross that state line, it starts to get yellow, red, orange, all the way. Adrianna, if you've got a couple specifics for some.
Yeah, we still got that accident that's on the Tri-State I-294, 80 going south at Dixie Highway, backed up to the Tri-State Tollway, so reported about 2 minutes ago. That accident that is right there by Thornton Quarry has cleared up just a little bit, but we still got that accident a bit further up. We're taking a look at the Stevenson going north and south. It's a bit heavy in traffic. Those accidents that are on the Eisenhower are still closed due to an overturned box truck. Crews have reclosed the outbound Eisenhower as they try to put those trucks right back up there. And then the right lane is blocked on the Eisenhower I-290 east at US 12, US 20, US 45, exit 17. That was reported and updated about 10 minutes ago. We're seeing a little bit of traffic on 90 west. There's an accident. 3 lanes are blocked on the Jane Addams I-90 west before Illinois 72 West Higgins Road. That was updated about 14 minutes ago. So if you're more in the area, if you're heading towards the airports by O'Hare, you're going to want to look out for that, as we are seeing that 94 going east and west is looking pretty heavy in that sense. Joe, weather?
Okay. It is cold, and there's going to be a lot of snow. We're going to get an inch starting at 11, and then a winter storm warning starting at 3. So you get about an hour in between then, 2 hours in between then. But it's going to be a high of 19 and a real feel of 11. Like I said, this winter storm warning is going to fall into Saturday. Throughout most of Saturday, expect about 3 to 6 inches of snow with a high of 22 and a real feel of 12. And then to round out the weekend, the snow will stop, but it'll still be cold. It'll be a high of 24 and a real feel of 16.
There we go.
So we will go straight to the calls now.
Straight to the calls.
Welcome callers in the kayak.
Yep.
Yeah, good morning, everybody.
How's it going? How you doing?
Good. And all the MX fans on MX Cartoons, let me open this up a little bit. Your little moniker there during commercial, what do you think's wrong with that Hammond water tank? Well, first of all, that's not a Hammond water tank. And second of all, it doesn't have that indoctrination program on there, college bound. So if you want any credibility, because I've made over probably 20,000 memes, you want to change that Hammond water tank to the indoctrination college bound program. Could you do that for me?
We'll get on the graphic. We'll get on the graphics department.
I know you have
that.
strong feelings of college bound, so we've had this conversation multiple times.
Yes, and it's very good. And since you started in on it, your friend that had the $500 bill, Adrianna, probably votes Democrat. Did you tell him to stop voting Democrat? And that's the reason probably why he got that bill?
I'm sorry, Grandma, that you got a $500 bill.
I waited 30 minutes for this call. Now, right, you're a little older. See, I got 50 years on you, Adrian, and I got 25 on my rhino buddy next to me. Mm-hmm. Now, the first thing you do when you make this protest, now you could Google MX or Perry Stabler, and you'll find out on NWI Times that I led 2 big protests. And I had a bodyguard. His name was Billy, and he was big, real big, stock car driver. And he was my bodyguard. We won BioGreen, and we got more land to the Gibson Woods. I definitely know how to run a protest because I learned from the best. My rhino buddy there, Bob, the first thing I heard come out of your mouth was vote them out. Vote every one of them out. But that tool that keeps calling in, my buddy steelworker Ron, it's Don Schmid, Tom Schmid. He likes what's his name? He likes Mervyn. So this is for Steedlow's cousin, and me and Walt and a bunch of others have been saying this for years, and it's over. So somebody's probably going to scream to the top of their lungs. I've been saying this for 4 years. Buried in the Inflation Act, as Joe Biden likes to call it, was a $6.5 billion natural gas tax that will stick Hoosiers with higher utility bills. This weekend, Frank Mervyn, Jr., Congressman, had the chance to repeal it. Instead, he doubled down. And that rhino Holcomb, he was for every bit of it. He went over there to Israel, the World Economic Forum, and then we got China building our windmills. What I've seen when I grew up in 1975, one of the most hideous things I've ever seen from the Greatest Generation. I was just a kid, wild-looking kid, thought I was tough. I walked outside Plant 1 gates, and this big burly guy from Plant 1 coming out with me was from World War II. And there was a communist. That's what he said. He was a communist, he told me later. He's handing out these papers. He hit him so hard, I can't tell you what he did to this kid because it's gruesome. And I said to myself, what did I get myself into? I didn't want to tell him, did you really have to do that to that kid? He's just handing out papers. And he said, I fought in World War II. There's a big difference between you two sitting there and the way I was brought up. You have to, Adrianna, I know you, I gave $100 to Mervyn in the beginning of my money, and that's a lot. And he let me down. But to keep here supporting this guy, and we have this big rate in NIPSCO bills, he's got to go. He took the most money from NIPSCO. He took $10,000. And the guy that's running that NIPSCO Madness Monopoly, he was my administrator in MX Cartoons. I taught him well. But if you do go to these protests, there will always be somebody in the crowd listening. Watch what you say. Watch what you do. Because they'll track your phone from protest to protest. And when you make that mistake, you'll be like that pretty guy. He kicked that rear tail light out, didn't he? So they'll build a case on you. So anybody that's going to these protests, listen from the master at MX about protesting. My picture's in the paper with 17-inch arms holding a sign. And you see that big guy behind me? His name was Billy. He's passed. He was a stock car driver right behind my back. But you guys are too kind, both of you. Vote them all out. There was one of our local 1010 leaders. He cussed Arson Martell so bad, up in the front there at the offices. I couldn't believe it. So I learned different than both of you. If they're in there, vote them out. And thank you for the time. Thank you very much.
Thank you for calling in.
Joe, are you gonna answer the
Next,
the job offer?
All right, next caller.
We got another call. Good morning, caller.
Thanks for calling in. What's on your
Yeah.
mind?
Welcome in.
Epilogue. EPILOGUE.
I mixed
How'd
up
I,
two
how'd I
letters.
do? How'd I do there, Bob Villa?
You did a great job, and I'm hoping my boy does just as well as you.
Now, how old is that young man?
He is 10 years old. He's in 4th grade, and today he's got a math test with fractions and a 20-word spelling test. So we've been practicing all week, and, fingers crossed he'll do well.
So when you take the young boy to school today, do a lot of the other parents go, "Hey, is this your grandpa?"
It just no. Well, what I will say, and I want so my wife Beck and I we adopted Liam 10 years ago. I'm a big adoption advocate. It just that's how life let our family grow, is through adoption. And right out of high school, I had a handful of friends that they started families, and so they're in their early 20s starting families. And we thought, man, you guys are nuts, having kids in your 20s. Well, now here we are, on the middle back end of our 40s with a 10-year-old, and we're thinking, man, we should have been in our 20s when we started a family, because there is so many of Liam's friends and their parents are 10, 15 years younger than Beck and I. And so we admittedly we started late in this process, but that's okay.
But it's got to be nice for him though, because he's got two parents who are have life experience and maturity, as opposed to the majority of the dinglings in the region, probably Democrats, screwing up their kids, right?
Well, I got to say, it is nice being, established. Both, Beck and I have our careers. We're able to sacrifice, our needs for Liam's needs, and I got to tell you that's a huge thing that I don't know that if we were, in our 20s, we would have been able to do that. And but yeah, that's how we ended up being the 40-somethings with an elementary school kid, because we adopted him later in life. And
so okay, a 4th grader, what's he, like 11 then?
He's 10. He's 10 years old.
So did you get him as a baby?
Yeah. We had him first day. He was born out in Nevada, and we had gotten a call from Biomom that said, hey, I'm going into
somebody lose a bet.
So we had we had to fly out. I mean, almost. We got the call, and it was, hey, you got to get out here. And so yeah, we've had him from day one, and
oh, that's nice.
Yeah,
that's really nice. Well, congratulations on that, man.
Yeah, no, it's not to get sentimental, but I always say that Liam, that's my boy. He saved me, man. The adoption. One of the things that I put on, we were talking about Joe's resume earlier. One of the things that I put on resumes when you talk about, soft skills, I'm a huge adoption advocate, and I think that it is, it saved me. It was a fantastic process, and we won't get into that because I will talk for the next 6 hours about it. But yeah, I highly recommend it for folks that are looking to, bring up their family that way.
Well, one more question about it. Does he know he's adopted?
Yes, he does. So that was one one conversation that Beck and I had over and over again, was that we wanted to make sure that was part of the conversation. When he's 5, he doesn't know what adoption means. He's but we wanted to make sure that he knew that. So if you look at pictures of us, he's like myself. He's got his own little fan club out there. If this was 40 years ago,
I'm not sure you got a fan club, my brother.
well, I do.
I wouldn't call it a fan club.
I've got 3 of you out there, and because you know how I know. You know how I know, because then everybody calls back on Monday. That's how I know I got a fan club. But he looks like it. So 30 years ago, we could have easily just swept that under the rug and nobody would have known. But it was such a powerful process that we went through. We wanted to. Because for whatever reason, our experience was it was still this like weird taboo. I mean, you've got folks now that are saying, "Oh, well, my kid is a cat, and you need to put a litter box in the high school." But we still don't talk about adoption. It was just the weirdest thing. So we wanted to be out there with it. We wanted to let him know that he had so many people that loved him. This is how he got to where he was. So he knows. And he's only 10, so his concept of what that means has changed over time. But yeah, no, we don't hide anything about it. Biomom still will send us. He will get a Christmas present from her. They will exchange, Christmas cards and birthday cards and such. So, that works for us. I know that doesn't work for every family. Every family's different, but he's blessed to have a whole herd of folks around him.
Oh, that's nice, man. Sounds like a good little guy.
Yeah, he's not bad. He's had so many fun experiences.
Not bad. You're lucky he stays in your house.
Yeah,
he turns into this radio show. He might leave.
Well, I don't know if you watched. Around Christmas, I did a Christmas show on here, and I brought him on for the last 5 or 10 minutes. And
I did not know.
Yeah, it's on the YouTubes. Go check out the Christmas show. Watch the last 5-10 minutes. I bring him on, just to It was my show, and I was just having fun with it. And he first of all, he doesn't call it WJOB. It's Wajob. Wajob. That's his thing. So whenever I'm heading here, he's like, "You going to Wajob? You going to Wajob?" And so that's just his thing. But he keeps asking, when can I come back on? And I think the only day that would work is the last Monday in March. He's on spring break, so I may bring him in there to.
There's no Friday you can bring him on?
Joe,
no, he's got school. He's got school, Joe. He can't come.
we can't sneak him in before school.
Yeah. So, but no, thanks for asking and talking about him, because he, as much as I like to, talk about all the good things in Dyer and talk about, pop culture things and all sorts of stuff, I could ramble about that kid forever. He's the best.
No, that's cool. That sounds like great thing you guys got going there. Well, hey, I'm not going to bother asking that good old guy from that watermelon seller up in Gary there, Ron Mailbox, when my apology is coming from accusing me of terrorism. So I'll save that for another day. But what I'd like to know, Bob, is I need you to send me a bunch of info on this IURC deal, because it occurred to me that after I did a little homework and just from basic knowledge, that the delivery of natural gas is almost, let's say, it's a one-time capital expense, as pipes don't really rot from the distribution of natural gas. And then since they've decided to hack us to death with this delivery fee, I'm thinking, why would they do that? Why would they slip that in there? So they can tell us they haven't raised the price of the gas. It's just a delivery because we've got pipes to improve and blah, blah, blah.
Well, and I think that was the narrative they were pushing. I think they even said, hey, look, that the cost of the product, that's just a pass through. And it's like, yeah, okay. Yeah,
except like I said, natural gas distribution, the erosion to the pipe from the movement of gas through the pipe is so negligible because it's under a low pressure. It's it's not like moving water out or doing irrigation or things like that, with the erosion, water being the most powerful element known to man. I mean, let's face it, because at one point the western United States was as flat as a tabletop. and now we got the thing called the Grand Canyon. How is that made? Drop
Water.
after drop of water. Water is the most powerful element we got that known to man. So, anyways, I think they're using this fee though as a cheap way to finance the construction of all of these data centers, which we're going to get totally hosed on. All this crap about, make more jobs, blah, 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 blah. Listen, we're going to end up eating that. And the research shows it because these things are getting turned down across the country everywhere. Everybody's starting to turn them down now. They're going, wait a minute, you're telling us that this is going to be heaven on earth. And it turns out there's a big, huge, non-monetary expense to drove gigantic data centers up all over the place.
Well, I think
now Hammond gets away with that one right on the lake. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say it's a 1-2 punch. One, which has been years in the making, is this bogus Green New Deal stuff, where NIPSCO for a while was, and I get that we're focused on natural gas at the moment, but it's a gas and electric bill. It's the bogus Green Deal stuff, and now the cogen type stuff for all these data centers. So yes, it's not just data centers. That's just the new punch. I think we're still dealing with some really bad decisions from the Green New Deal, wind and solar, and the push for that.
Who's the sponsor of the Green New Deal, by the way? What party is all about the Green New Deal? Can you tell me that, please?
Well, I can, but do you want to say it or do you want me to say it?
Yeah, Democrats. Democrats, imbecilocrats. That same group that Ron's been with his entire life. And the guy's got the nerve to tell me we should get more people to run in office. And I go, well, the people you ran who are running Gary, you couldn't find anybody that'd say, yeah, I'd rather move to Gary as opposed to Highland, Munster, Griffith, Cedar Lake, and 99,000 other communities in the state of Indiana. I mean, give me a break.
Yep.
But anyways, Bob, listen, what I need you to do is send that info to Chuck, or you can just text Chuck and get my number and send it over because we got to fight this stuff. We got Mervan not helping us a lick, and this guy knew this thing was coming all along. He didn't even mention it. And he was even on the radio station, I think, if I'm not mistaken, he did a little interview with Jimmy, and then a week later that rate increase came through. That is literally pulverizing people's budgets out here. I mean, people are getting killed right now. I mean, like no heat in their house. They're turning everything off. They're unplugging freezers in their garage. It's just ridiculous. And I'm not in the mood really to finance Facebook, Microsoft, Amazon, the chip makers. There's no reason for that. But like I said, it's not going to bother me. But the poor in our county are getting killed.
Oh, the poor, all those seniors on fixed incomes,
Even people with low income.
Yeah.
They're getting destroyed. They're getting absolutely destroyed. Hey, and tell that, by the way, that gigantic overweight guy named Anthony on the chat line, tell him you shop when things are on sale, Tubby, okay? You don't pay regular price for anything. Because if you do, you're, again, as dumb as a Democrat.
Hey,
All
thanks,
right, have a good weekend,
thanks
guys.
for calling in. Appreciate
Good luck
it.
with your...
All right.
We're going to take one more call before we take our break at the top of the hour.
Yep. Good morning, caller.
Good
You are
morning,
on the
caller.
air. Caller's in our little kayak there.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to call this now. It's our little kayak.
How's it going, caller? What's on your mind?
Is that me?
Yes.
Yeah,
good
you're
morning.
here. Good morning.
Oh, I got a couple of stories, but
Well, give me your best story here because I've got to take a break in about 4 minutes. So give me your best story.
Years ago, the Holiday Star was like the place to go. My husband and I went to a lot of Chicago shows, but that was like the place that we went. So our grandkids went to Montessori. So every year Montessori would have a big fundraiser. And so this one particular year, one of the things on the fundraiser was tickets to B.B. King and dinner. So I'm putting my bid in for it, and I get another guy that's putting in his bid, and we're going on and on back and forth, and it was for 4 tickets. And I look down finally, and I see that the person that is going, his name is going down with mine, is Jerry Sue. I said, oh my God. So I go through the whole place, find Jerry Sue, and I said, listen, Jerry, the tickets for 4, let's quit betting. Let's quit putting our bid in, and we'll just go, the 4 of us will go. So we ended up where it was unbelievable because our anniversary was April 11th, and Jerry's was April 11th also, he and Mary. And they got married at 11, we got married at 4. But we had such a night, and we went, but that was one of the places that we went to all the time. It was just as far for us to go from North Hammond to Holiday as it was for us to go to Chicago. But one of the places that we really loved going to was the Comedy Theater.
Yes, they had some real good shows there.
Yeah, and we had local people that was there. I remember one of the attorneys was there. But on another note, I listen to the show, and people who know me know who I am. And I've been there, done that. I'm proud of what I did. And I'm proud to have been a Democrat. And I stood up to people. I stood up to a room of 300 people and didn't like what they were saying, what the people at the podium were saying, and they shut off my mic. But I will give every kudo to everybody who wants to do and say things that are against what they believe the other people mean. But, everybody deserves to have a kindness. You don't have to, knock somebody down because he wears blue socks and this guy wears red socks. It's crazy. Go there and give your point and say why you feel like you do and move on. They talked about the gentleman from Sayreville.
Tom Schmidt.
A super guy. Yeah, Tom Smith. I mean, Tom has been with his people for years and years. I have never heard anybody. Of course, there's people out there who say, "Oh, he's no good. He's just that," But there's some people that are negative on everything. I mean, you could get up in the morning and say, "Oh, there's going to be no sun today," and the sun is already out. It's crazy. It's totally crazy. Half my life is over. I don't want to live to be 190. And I listen. I listen every day. I listen to pros and cons. I have my own opinions. My family is, I have a brother who is very, very politically connected, so to speak. I've been to the inaugural of Bush. I've been to Washington, D.C. many, many, many times. I sat on a committee of 100 people in the United States of elected officials for public safety and brought back some things. Some of the things are still there in the jail with paying to get in when, sometimes when you get picked up and you get put into the jail, it's like, okay, $1,000 to get out. But I put into, I can't remember if it was a bill or whatever it was, but something that I had brought back from a meeting that I had in Santa Fe. And it was to make that person pay $25 to be there. And it brought some money in. But the thing that people don't understand in the county, and I will always say this, the biggest thing in the county is public safety. That's where the money goes. The money goes to the police. The money goes, that is what our tax dollars are for. Whether they've been used right or wrong, I mean, we can look at how many people have gone to jail.
I think we could probably have an entire show on whether or not those were used appropriately. But yes, that is where the money goes and where the money should go.
Right, right. Anyway, you have a good day. I always listen. I don't always call, and I know I get criticized.
You won't get criticized here. All right, thank you very much.
Well, I know that, and you guys have a good day.
Hey, you too. Thanks for calling in. It is 8:01 here in the region. We're going to take a break, and we'll be back in just a few minutes.
All right. Sounds good.
Do you like to work with your hands, creating something from nothing? Then think about Laborers Local 41. You'll get 432 hours of apprenticeship training, all while earning a wage with benefits and incurring no student debt. You'll travel to different job sites, learn tons of skills, and in a lot of cases, be the first one on and the last one off a job site. It all starts at laborers41.com.
Before Notre Dame Federal Credit Union, we were being charged various maintenance fees and various check writing fees for all of our accounts. And with Notre Dame, we don't have that. We have that true community partnership. We get interest based on all of our parish and school accounts, and the interest rate is really second to none.
Welcome back, Northwest Indiana region, folks. This is Region Rundown. I am your host, Bob, and I've got Adrianna here, and I've got Joe in the producer's booth. It is 8:07 on Friday, January 30th, the longest Longest January in history. It just won't end.
I was going to say, you sound like you're like, all right, I'm done.
Yeah, I'm done with
I'm
January.
done.
But you are listening to WJOB 1230 AM 104.7 FM here in Hammond, Indiana. We're also on the YouTubes. And let's go ahead and do a quick rundown of traffic and weather.
Yeah, so
and we can
traffic is actually getting better. That's the start. So 90 going east and west is looking good. Chicago Skyways are looking good. 80 going east and west in the Northwest region is looking good. And that traffic that was earlier in Illinois area on 80 going west has cleared up a little bit. You may have some traffic on I-94 going west, but that's about it. The other two accidents that were right there by Halsted Street, as well as, yep, it just says Halsted Street. Those are clearing up just a little bit. Taking a look further into the city, the connector Dan Ryan to Bishop Ford is looking pretty good. We may have a little bit of traffic right there on the Stevenson on First Avenue, Route 171 north at I-55 Stevenson Expressway going north. There is an accident. Left lane is blocked, so that may cause some traffic. But the Stevenson going, let's see here, was that going north? Yep. So that's a bit further up, but going north on the Stevenson, we have a bit of traffic. And the main area of traffic that you are going to be looking at there is on Cicero Avenue. So expect some heavy traffic flow in that area. Again, on the Eisenhower, two left lanes are blocked on Eisenhower I-290 west at 25th Avenue. Exit 18 backed up all the way to Austin Boulevard, exit 23A. That was reported and updated about 6 minutes ago for those who are just tuning in. A box truck has been overturned and they're trying to get it back up, and crews are working on clearing a fuel spillage. The right lane has been reopened to traffic. So a bit of traffic in that area. Eisenhower Expressway going east is a little bit heavy right there around Central Avenue, but 90 going east and west right there up more towards the city is looking a little bit heavier in traffic, but everybody is headed into work, so that is to keep in mind. Joe, you got weather for us?
Yep. One last traffic and weather update for the boys.
For the boys.
So today, Friday the 30th, last day of January, we're going to have about an inch starting here in a couple hours around 11, going until 1 p.m., and then we're going to get another winter storm warning starting at 3 p.m., going into the late afternoon of Saturday. We're going to have a high of 19 on Friday and a real feel of 11. And then Saturday, we're going to get 3 to 6 inches through that winter storm warning, which should end around 6 p.m. We'll have a high of 22 and a real feel of 12. And then to round out this spectacular weekend is going to be partially sunny, but still very cold, with a high of 24 and a real feel of 16. And that's your weather.
All right. So we do got one caller in our little kayak going there. Do you want to take him?
Let's go ahead and take the caller because we'll be wrapping up here in about 10, 15 minutes. So, caller, you are on the air. Thanks for buzzing in.
Good morning.
All right. Did you guys see that that bill that the Indiana Senate passed last night?
Which one?
Senate Bill 182. So in Indiana, boys are boys and girls are girls. Ain't that something? Wow, we're killing it, ain't we?
I saw something again, just a blurb on it. Hadn't read it, but yes, it was the. I don't know if it had anything to do with sports, but it was the boys are boys, girls are girls. There's only two genders.
Yeah.
I think for legal documentation, restrooms, and all that stuff.
Yep, restrooms, birth certificates are only going to have 2 check marks, like they should have. Wow, what an idea that you have to come to this in 2026. Unbelievable.
What House bill did you say that was? I'm sorry. It's like 180 something.
182.
Okay.
182, I believe. I'm pretty sure. Did you guys see Mr. Don Lemon got?
Yes. So
Gray Bar Motel last night.
I just got some news on that last night. Don Lemon was arrested by federal authorities, and so. Admittedly, I didn't pay too much attention to his initial, I think the story was that he stormed the church with some protesters, and, you just can't be doing that stuff. But yeah, so he got arrested. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with that.
Hopefully, and I believe these are federal charges.
Yes.
So, I'd say you're in some deep dog doo.
Yeah, I mean, there's, I don't understand. We've had church issues for a very long time when they were shutting down churches for COVID, when they were doing all these things. But the fact that he thought that he could just wander into a church and bring a cavalcade of craziness with him, I'm perfectly fine with the feds coming in to arrest him. And let's see how this hashes out, because that whole we're a journalist, we get protection from everything. No, that's not how it works.
No, that ain't how it works. He's just an idiot, and he's always been an idiot. And one other thing before I go, when this show's over, go back on the YouTube and listen to MX's call about 3 times, because he was spot on about everything he said. Spot on, and we knew this was coming. They put it right in front of our faces, but nobody pays attention. They slapped us right in. So go listen to his call, and you'll understand things a lot better. So you guys have a great week and stay warm in that studio. I'm sure Jed's got it on like 54 degrees or something.
Oh, wow, you are being generous with 54. No, the first thing I walked in, I saw Adrianna over at the thermostat cranking it up.
Yep.
So we will turn it down before we go.
We will,
but
we promise.
Yeah, it's 54. Thanks for being generous. I think if you are watching on the YouTube, hopefully it warms up soon, because the next episode might require blankets or something. It does get. I am wondering though, because with that, I've never. So this is the old studio, but for me it's the new studio, because I was always at Purdue. I am deathly afraid of what it's going to be like in the summer. I really hope that there's some like quality air conditioning here.
Oh yeah, that's
because
a
this
thing.
is just this can be a hot box. I can imagine.
Well,
so.
I hope by summer that we are out in our other studio over there that has a lot more room. But yeah, I will say I am not one to do heat. I don't do heat when it comes to over 95 degrees. That's when I'm okay. Like, I love the UV rays, don't get me wrong. Being able to warm up the water, going to the beach and all that, getting your tans, I'm all for that. But when it gets to the point where the UV rays are around like 10, I'm like, okay, I can't.
Yeah.
I don't know about this. And the humidity aspects, I'm like, cool.
If it's not between 50 and 70, I'm complaining.
What's your perfect area?
Like, probably like low 70s, high 60s.
For the coldest?
No, just like perfect in general.
Oh, keep it all year round.
The coldest for me is like 45. No. I don't know. I'll probably be fine if it's like 30 out.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, give me like 25 as the coldest, and I'm okay. Like, let it snow, let the snow stick, everything fine, and then let it go away.
You had mentioned something that I want to, my earpiece just keeps falling out. You had mentioned something about the new studio that they're building. So right now you're seeing us in this old studio, or in the old portion of the studio. They are working on building a new studio out in the front, just to the side of what I'll call the lobby area. And I think this weekend they're installing the lights in the ceiling.
Oh, really?
So hopefully here in the next few weeks, we will be all settled in a new spot.
And then everything is going to shift over.
Yeah.
Well, it's low-key warmer out there, too.
Yeah.
Is it?
It'll be nice.
Okay.
So, anyways, thank you, caller, for calling in.
Yes.
And, yes, I encourage everyone to go back and watch all of the YouTubes.
Yes, that is the great thing of on-demand, as I was saying on Tuesday. That is the beauty of YouTube having an on-demand feature where you can listen to your favorite shows and your favorite community programming, podcasting. We just did release a new podcast. We're going to do a couple shout-outs here before I know you got to head out.
Go for it.
We're going to do a couple shout-outs here. We are slowly getting posting with our podcasts. I know yesterday Jim was like, you got like 5,000 things to do. Stay home and work. I was just like, oh, okay, Joe, you're up. But we're working on that. We just released a new podcast called What Makes a Cow Guy Cry. That is with Scott Chelity. He is a former board of trade person and former trader, and he has his program on Fox that he does as well. So him and Jim do a podcast together. So that is definitely a must listen if you are looking for a new podcast, something that is very compelling. I was listening to it when editing it, and there was moments where he was about to make me cry with his story because his story is just so impactful. So definitely go check that one out, as well as one of all of our different other podcasts that are regulars here, such as Weezer, Limb Walkers, Mastering Local Marketing, and I believe yours is called Northern Front. Dad Bod Walking. We got that
so
one up
we've
there.
Got that one, and a lot of the municipal shows are
Yes.
pretty good. And I don't just say that because I do the Dyer one, but I mean, the all the different school cities.
Yes.
It really is
You get a
good
lot of your
place.
information.
Yes, and when we decided as a town to do that, same thing with Munster,
Mhm.
and I think Whiting has one.
Yes.
I think is the idea that. Look, there's no one mechanism that gets all of the information out there. So all of these towns, everybody, there's websites and social media and flyers in the mail and text message programs.
Yes, all these
and
different
all of that, and people still say, "Oh, well, I didn't know about that." So adding this radio component, so now it's on the radio waves, then it's on YouTube. It's really interesting to listen to other communities to see what they have going
And
on.
we also have a bunch of shows that are for entertainment purposes as well. For instance, tomorrow at 10 o'clock, you're going to hear Gino with Region Bandstand. And as well as you hear Polka Hour on Sundays. I believe that is at 3 o'clock, if I am not mistaken. So you got some entertainment factors as well. Definitely go check out their shows. I know that one of the sponsors for Region Bandstand is Freddy's Steakhouse, so be sure to go check both of those out, as Region Bandstand does a phenomenal show. Gino in the chat, I know we see you. We see you. Shout out Gino.
Yeah.
And so we're actually going to be bringing in a lot of new and different content, as well as our social medias. So before we sign off here, just making sure everybody knows. I don't know what Joe's like convulsing over there.
I think he's just cold.
So we are going to have our social medias. We are posting a little bit more. I've been trying to get that show schedule, but of course, at least with this week, shows have been changing, and I'm just like, okay, guys.
Well, and that'll happen. I know
That
we
down.
have the Lake County Republican show has one that we had to
But
shift.
you guys don't usually shift.
Just because we had the horrible weather over the weekend into Monday, and so that happens. But there really is several different podcasts for everyone out there.
And then for somebody in the comments, they said, what's the difference of coming on the show in person or doing a podcast? Some of our people that do podcasts, they do those pre-recorded or they do them off location. So if they are unable to make it into here, that's the great thing with all of the new and updated technology that we have. People can be across the country doing a podcast with us. And then also coming in on the show, some people may not want that on-air live experience. They may feel more comfortable kind of just doing it in the comfort of their own home and or having it recorded, so that way if there's a slip up or if there's anything and they're like, actually no, don't put that in but put this in, editing purposes, that's the kind of difference. But with the podcast, people have like a more kind of raw feeling to it, opposed to on the air they may feel like, okay, I'm just being interviewed, but that is a more kind of personal touch to it.
And there is two different ways. So for the Town of Dyer show, for the Lake County Republican show, I'll come in studio to do that. For my podcast, the Dad Bod Walking series, I have a studio at home that I will record that, and I just send that in there. So it really is, however you guys get the stuff, whatever the podcaster wants to do.
Yeah, and
because Weezer's in here.
Yeah, we got about 20 different podcasts, and
Yeah.
we're about to have 21 because I'm taking a class at PNW with Matt Hansen, and it's where basically we market ourselves with the podcast. So the podcast that I have, I'm like, okay, yeah, so I got to do about like 10 episodes, but I was like, no, I got you.
Yeah.
It's 30.
So.
Starting on social medias, all that good stuff. So you're going to hear a bunch of different ones. And of course, all the other producers here have shown interest in like getting a podcast, but we want to be able to figure out what all of our different voices are. So it's just within time, hopefully by the summer. My goal is to get at least like 25.
That'll work. See. We've got one caller left and about 5 minutes left.
Mhm.
So let's go ahead and take this last caller. You are on the air. Like I said, we've got about 5 minutes left.
Yes.
So what's on your mind?
Good morning. Knock, knock.
Hello?
They don't even reply by knock, knock. Joe.
Oh, yeah. You there?
Bob, good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, to piggyback Walt's call, how can I count on you to take a substantial stand against NIPSCO when you were face-to-face with Mervan the other day and really didn't say anything that counted? I'll hang up and listen for your answer.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you hung up. Okay. Yeah, so I would say, I don't know. At this point, it's been about a month ago now. Ran into Frank in the grocery store, and I said hi to him, and somehow it's turned into, why didn't you holler at him? And at the time I think it was the canned good aisle. So it just.
So you didn't have any of the frozens just yet.
Yeah. But what I would say is, keep on, find the elected officials that can have an impact, and that's going to be your state reps and state senators. Keep on with NIPSCO. It looks like, there was some question about, well, what's happening? I think there was a news article on ABC 7, I think it was ABC, documenting, I guess there's 2 planned protests outside some NIPSCO facilities here in the next week. There's that new Facebook group that someone had tagged
NIPSCO,
in. Monopoly Madness.
Yes,
I think you can find some information on there. There's a hearing in Indianapolis next week at the IURC talking about NIPSCO rate cases. There is a town hall at Laborers 41 coming up in the next week. So there are a handful of outlets for people to, continue to express their concern, their anger, their displeasure with it. And, certainly I'll be among them, as most people paying NIPSCO bills now are going to be among them. So
yeah.
That's all I've got on that one.
There we go.
It is 8:24. We're going to
wrap it up.
We're going to wrap it up.
We got to go different places.
Yeah.
So Joe is going to have the mic.
Joe's going to wrap up.
Joe is not going to have the mic. Joe has to use the bathroom really badly, and
geez, Joe.
You guys are going to be on.
Nobody wants to hear that, Joe.
Sorry, guys.
We're going to play some non-copyright music. Yep.
Thanks for all the callers today.
You.
I look forward to hearing on Monday how much you love the show or
how
hated
we've
the show.
inspired individuals.
Yeah.
Because, we're just so inspiring. To them.
Evidently. But thanks, everyone, for calling in. The calls make the show. Otherwise, you've got to just listen to
us. Yeah.
Listen to us. So you are listening to the Region Rundown with Bob and Adrianna. Joe's in the driver's seat. And that's all I've got for you
there
today.
There we go. All right, yeah. Just be sure to check out all of our social medias, WJOB1230 on Instagram and Facebook. Eventually, we will have our TikTok up. We're posting some social media content on there as well as the show schedules. And we will be back next week. All right.
Have a good one, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
Uncle John's Band is one of my favorites by them, and it's just about like kind of the spirit of